In our gospel today, it seems as if Jesus is shrugging off his mother and his relatives. It seems as if he doesn't have any time for them anymore. But the truth is, Jesus had a lot of time for his family. He spent 30 years in Nazareth and only 3 years in active ministry. So his family received 10 times as much of his time. So why does he react in the way he does in our gospel today? When Jesus says, "Whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my mother, my brother, and sister," he is not rejecting his biological mother or his cousins. He is teaching us the most important bond that unites them. It is not the bond of blood or having the same genes. Rather, it is the bond of charity. Our Lady and Saint Joseph did the will of God. When the angels appeared to each of them and explained to them the important role that they would play in God's work of salvation, they both responded immediately. And their obedience was expressed each and every day in their humble work in Nazareth. The second last window on the right side of the church, my left, is an image of the Holy Family in their home in Nazareth. You can see Joseph working at his bench, and our Blessed Mother, it appears that she is spinning some thread. Each time Joseph chiseled at the wood, he was doing the will of his heavenly Father. He was responding to the command that the angel gave to him to take Mary as his wife, to care for her and Jesus. Every time that our Blessed Mother repaired a garment or helped to mill flour from grain, she was putting into practice her vocation to be the Mother of God. She was doing the will of our Father in heaven. The daily work of Mary and Joseph was unique in that each day as they were working, they were literally working for Jesus. Everything they did was to care for him. And they were working with Jesus. Jesus was there at their side, helping them with their tasks. It is a beautiful thing to imagine life in Nazareth and to meditate upon the love and care that was shared between them and the love that was put into their work each day. When Jesus says, "Whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother," he's giving us an opportunity to share in that intimacy that Mary and Joseph had with him in Nazareth. We too can be part of Christ's family if we dedicate ourselves to the will of the Father. Sometimes when we think of doing God's will, we may think it requires some sort of special or extraordinary task. I have to leave everything I'm doing right now and sell all my things. I have to go to be a missionary in another country. I have to die a martyr. And sometimes God may call some individuals in a special way. But even those individuals, most of their life will not be doing extraordinary deeds. Most of their life, most of the time, will be taken up doing those daily tasks that are part of our daily work. That is God's will for me today. And that is how I live that bond of charity with the Holy Family. Sometimes it will mean preparing a meal for our family, unplugging a toilet, sending an email to a colleague at work, or taking time to hug your children when they are upset. Doing the will of God, in some ways, is not as difficult as we might think. Yet so often we fail to do God's will in these opportunities that He gives us each and every day. Our Lady would have learned most of her daily tasks from her mother, St. Anne. St. Anne would have taught her how to make flour from grain, how to prepare a meal for her family, how to keep the home clean and tidy, how to repair clothing, or gather water from the village well. Mary certainly taught some of these tasks to Jesus. And we know that Jesus apprenticed with his adopted father, St. Joseph, and learned from him the trade of a carpenter. In the stained glass window in your church, Jesus is shown carrying a yoke on his shoulder. We can imagine him making something like this with Joseph in the workshop in Nazareth. But of course, the yoke has very rich symbolic value. It reminds us of the cross that would one day be on Jesus' shoulders. It also reminds us of his words. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Before Jesus bore the yoke of the cross, he bore the yoke of manual labor in Nazareth. Our labors, our work, is made light and easy once we've discovered the secret of Nazareth. The most difficult task is easy to perform when we perform it with love. And the most mundane task can become an exciting adventure if we do it aware of the presence of Jesus at our side.